Hello everyone, it's Abe here, and yes, we're milking another trend here. This time we are doing what if we cut the Smash roster in half, meaning we'll have 40 fighters, who will live and who will be cut. Basically, we're gonna make a hypothetical Smash game that will only have 40 fighters, but it's basically like a reboot here, since we all know the size of Ultimate's roster can't be beat. Now, I'm gonna base my selection on a few criterias here. The first thing is that Echo characters like Samus and Dark Samus are counted towards one character. So yeah, if we cut Samus, we have to cut Dark Samus, and if we cut Dark Samus, we have to cut Samus. If you want to know my reasoning behind, look at the official Smash website, where you notice that Samus is number 4 and Dark Samus is number 4 Echo. I don't really consider them to take up a roster slot. Another thing of characters like Pokemon Trainer and Pyra Mythra and the Mii fighters, I count them all as one fighter. So there you go. If I'm keeping Pyra, I'm also keeping Mythra, Pokemon Trainer, I'm keeping Swirl, Ivysaur, Charizard, they're all in one slot, and the Mii fighters, if I keep one, I have to keep them all. They're one slot to me. So yeah, also, lastly, one other thing in terms of my roster picks. I'm going to be saying a lot throughout my cuts, but I'll just make a point here. I'm going to try my best to prioritize keeping series alive rather than having repeat fighters. So if, like, for example, you see me cut, like, if you see me cut a character that has a series represented over someone that has a sole representation, then you know my reasoning. So I'm trying to just keep this as many series alive in the Smash Bros. Universe, since it is a crossover at the end of the day. So yeah, let's begin. Starting with the original 8 here, Mario stays, Donkey Kong stays, Link stays, Samus stays, which means Dark Samus stays, Yoshi stays, Kirby stays, Fox stays, and Pikachu stays. The original 8 are all legacy characters, have a big history, and they're still iconic to this day. The only ones that could be questioned are Samus and Fox. While Samus is still getting games till this day, like Prime 4 is coming out next year, Fox is a bit different. However, I want to keep his series representation alive, and since he has more than one fighter, I think we can keep one Star Fox character, and also his playstyle is very unique. So yeah. Let's move on now to the next 12. That's going to be Luigi, Stain, obviously brother Mario. Ness has another fighter represented, and I want to try to keep the Earthbound series alive, and Ness has just been around here longer. While Captain Falcon doesn't really have any appearances anymore, he just plays like a original Smash character. Like, when you think of Smash Bros, like, what's the first move that you think of when you think of Smash Bros? A lot of people will say like Falcon Punch, Falcon Kick, show me your moves, Captain Falcon stuff. So it's a crime to keep him out. Jigglypuff though is sorry, my first cut, and it's part of the original 12. A lot of people will be like original 12, keeping no doubt. But I'm sorry, Jigglypuff is not one of those for me. The only reason why Jigglypuff was in the game in the first place is because it was a similar model to Kirby, and you could borrow a lot of animations from it, as well as being popular during the Gen 1 era of Pokemon. That's really it. Jigglypuff has also been considered cut multiple times throughout the Smash series, and yeah. I think Jigglypuff, out of all the original 12, would be the only one cut. Everyone else stays. Now let's get on to the Melee cast. We're starting off Peach here, which means we also keep Daisy, since she's Echo Fighter. Peach is part of the main Mario crew. And yeah. Bowser, we are keeping, again, part of the main Mario crew, and Bowser's a villain and heavyweight. Now, Ice Climbers, cutting. I know Ice Climbers been around for a while and has been the stable retro rep. However, I feel like there are better retro reps that can represent more than just one game with the Ice Climbers. Yes, their playstyle is unique from a lot of the cast, but just unique playstyle will not cut it this time. I am making ruthless calls with this one. Next is Sheik, and we are getting the cut with Sheik. Sheik is just only a main appearance, Ocarina of Time. That's it. It was nice at the time, but besides from like spin-offs, which we don't really count, Sheik has not really appeared in the main Zelda game. So yeah, that's about it. Sheik is just worthless. She's got a unique playstyle, but again, it does not cut things around here. Now for Zelda, we are keeping still relevant. I mean, they named Legend of Zelda after her, after all. Dr. Mario, if you were a skin, you would be awesome, but you would take up a roster slot, so goodbye. Same thing with Pikachu, goodbye. Falco, again, goodbye. Series not relevant enough to keep a second character. Fox is pulling a big stretch and is literally only here because part of the original cast. Next up, Fire Emblem. Ooh boy, everyone's super hot controversial topic in the Smash community. Marth, we all agree, is definitely staying, which means Lucina is also staying, which thank God is really good because these two represent a very pivotal moment in the Fire Emblem series. Marth is obviously like the pseudo mascot and first Fire Emblem main protagonist, and Lucina also represents the Awakening side, which is the main game that saved the franchise from dying. So beautiful that these two are in, and they all count as one roster slot, which is good. So now Young Link getting cut. You don't even really got anything from Majora's Mask besides from like what? Fire arrows? Oh boy, my favorite thing from Majora's Mask, the fire arrows. Ooh boy. Ganondorf we're keeping, especially if this was a reboot. He would definitely get a unique moveset, and yeah, we also just want to keep the 3 Triforce wielders in the game. Now here's my hot take. Mewtwo is getting cut. Look guys, again, this goes back to my thing. I want to keep series alive. Sometimes we have to cut characters from multiple series representation. And also, Mewtwo is from Generation 1, which we already have a representation with Pikachu. We want to represent Gen 1, I think Pikachu's the best bet, especially since he's the mascot. Mewtwo, while recognizable by a lot of people, again, there's other Pokemon that we have here, and there's always going to be another new Pokemon. So, sorry Mewtwo. Roy and Chrom are both getting cut. Chrom obviously because Echo, and Roy just doesn't bring enough uniqueness to him. And Binding Blade doesn't really even do much for the Fire Emblem series in general. Now, onto Mr. Game & Watch. I'm keeping him. He's basically going to be our retro rep. The reason why I think he's the best retro rep is because he reps literally the entirety of the Game & Watch era, when Nintendo was just starting to get into video games, and especially with Smash Ultimate's moveset, which each Game & Watch's sprite representing that exact same Game & Watch game, meaning that Mr. Game & Watch and Smash Ultimate especially is an amalgamation of every single Game & Watch game, which is really awesome. You're combining so many different games into one character. And this, again, super retro and represents Nintendo's first footings into the video game industry. So I think, especially in a Nintendo crossover, Mr. Game & Watch definitely deserves the retro rep. Meta Knight is staying, and I'm going to spoiler here, King Dedede is also staying. Kirby Trio is just so iconic, and again, Sakura's decision, I think if he were to return, he would definitely keep those people. Pit and Dark Pit, same reason. Would not want Dark Pit to return, but you know, Echo Fighter, so it doesn't count as a slot, so oh well. Even though Kid Icarus is from Very Niche, again with the songwriter bias in there, and we're just trying to keep series alive, and there is another fighter from the series that we can cut. I would like to keep at least a series alive. Zero Suit Samus, cutting. We already have Samus representing the Metroid series, and also it's literally just Samus, but again, the main reason why Zero Suit was in the game in the first place is like, what if we gave Samus a final smash that you just transform into a brand new character? That sounds cool, right? But newsflash, it's not 2008 anymore, and Zero Suit Samus doesn't really have a purpose anymore. So, cutting. Wario, I consider part of the last main Mario crew. Also, he represents his own side series of the WarioWare series. I don't know what that was about. But he represents the WarioWare series as well, bringing that in with his moveset. So yeah, definitely deserves to stay. Snake, look, he's the first third-party character in Smash Bros. And a lot of people are like, that's the reason why he should stay. Personally, I disagree. First, he doesn't fit in. I know that's not a valid reason for him, but personally, I just don't think he fits in well compared to everyone else. And also, there is another Konami rep that will represent things better as the better Konami rep. And Snake just is not that. I'm also cutting Ike here. I know Ike is a fan favorite, especially in the Fire Emblem community, but this isn't the Fire Emblem community, this is the Smash community. And for Smash, Ike represents some of the worst selling Fire Emblem games in the US. So, yikes, no. And just because you have a unique playstyle, again, does not mean you're in. Pokemon Trainer definitely stays. If we were to have another Gen 1 rep, I think Pokemon Trainer would be perfect since it's literally 3 characters in one, and you literally play as the trainer in the Pokemon games. And even so, you can easily just replace him with 3 other Pokemon if you wanted to update Pokemon Trainer to the more modern Pokemon entries. Have a modern trainer, have modern Pokemon, but he would still be Pokemon Trainer at the end of the day, you know? And he's just overall cool concept in general. So yeah, definitely deserve it. Diddy Kong, this is going to be very tough, but Diddy Kong is getting cut. I will explain my reasons why. When we get to another character, I'll explain why Diddy Kong's cut, but all I can say now is that I had to prefer one character over another, and when we get to that character, I'll explain why Diddy Kong did not make the cut, but that other character did make the cut. Sorry, Diddy Kong. Lucas, your game's not even out in America, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, sorry. Sonic, definitely staying in. Iconic video game character, huge legacy classic, and is still relevant to this day, even as not as much as used to before, but he's still relevant. So definitely staying. Olimar represents one of Nintendo's more niche franchises, and did just get a new release on the Switch. He's staying. Lucario, I'm gonna cut out. I know we said we need stuff from other generations, but we will have that later on. Lucario, again, is another one of those is like, yeah, we could have had him in, but there needs to be another series alive, so sorry, Lucario. Rob, we're also cutting. Sorry, toys aren't allowed in this roster. Yeah, he does represent more for the NES era with 2 games, but like that's literally it. So at least a bit better than Ice Climbers, but it ain't much. Toon Link we're also cutting. I know some people try to defend Toon Link being like, well, if this was a reboot and Link would get a new moveset, Toon Link would also have the old moveset. Well, if that were the case, I would have kept like Dr. Mario, Pichu, Falco, Young Link, Roy, you know, like stuff like that. But you see, I did not keep those. And also, newsflash, last game Toon Link was a major protagonist in was in like Spirit Tracks, and that game came out on the DS, which was over a decade ago. Sorry, he's not relevant. Wolf for cutting. This is very sad considering this is a villain, but Star Fox just isn't the one to do that. Personally, if this was me, I would cut Fox and Falco and keep Wolf. I like Wolf way better than Fox and Falco, but that's just me. Villager, we are keeping. Animal Crossing is super popular as one of Nintendo's, you know, Giga franchises now. So yeah, Villager staying. Mega Man, we're also staying. Real big legacy, especially in the 2D platformer genres. A lot of stuff, especially from the retro 2D games, have originated their mechanics from Mega Man. So yeah, definitely Mega Man has a huge legacy, and even though he isn't treated as well today, he still has a lot of video game importance. Wii Fit Trainer, yeah, no way in hell she's getting it, bro. No way, no shot, Wii Fit. She literally has the name Wii in her name. I'm sorry. Wii Fit Trainer ain't happening. This is especially coming from an ex-Wii Fit main in Smash Ultimate. So yeah, even my bias won't save her from staying on the roster. Rosalina. Yikes, this is very hard for me, but as one of my favorite video game characters, I'm sorry, Rosalina, but you ain't coming back. Again, it just goes, like, we need more series alive, and Rosalina is from a very oversaturated series in the Mario series, and she's not part of the main cast. I am sorry. Little Mac. God, this is another hard one. I know he said about the series thing, but, like, sorry, y'all. I really tried, but this is really hard, and Little Mac was just, like, one of those characters be like, yeah, if we had a more stock, Little Mac would definitely be one of the first in line. Alright, what's next? Greninja. Greninja, we are keeping. This is one of the more modern Pokemons we are keeping, especially since we got Sheet Cut. We don't have that playstyle anymore, and Greninja kind of has that, so we're keeping him for that. Plus, in one of the Pokemon popularity polls, Greninja was voted one of the most popular Pokemon. So, definitely popular Pokemon fan base. And yeah, Greninja is just really cool as well. Alright, Palutena, getting cut. Very lucky that Pit was able to survive, but I'm sorry, Palutena, you cannot survive. Yeah, even though I prefer Palutena's moveset compared to Pit, but you know, Pit's the main character, and Palutena didn't really have a major role in the old Kid Icarus games. And in Uprising, she kind of had a major thing, but she was like more of like a support slash side role. Even though you did fight her one time, but you know, she was possessed, but she wasn't really her, is what I'm saying. But off tangent, go play Uprising, it's good, but sorry, Palutena, you can't make the cut. Pac-Man, we are 100% keeping. If a video game character can make it into a movie, even if it's for reference, like, bro, keep Pac-Man in, bro. Legacy as well as, you know, Namco character, we need that. And we also, even though he ain't modern, super modern now, he still, like, represents the arcade generation as well. Alright, Robin, this is tough for me because I like Robin's playstyle, but he is getting cut. Even though I believe he represents Fire Emblem the best out of everyone, especially since he wields magic, not just a sword, and he also has the weapon durability system. It's really cool, but sorry. Again, unique playstyle ain't gonna help you if you're from an oversaturated series. Shulk, we are keeping though. Not Monolith is one of Nintendo's like big buddies. I consider Monolith a second-party developer. I don't know if they bought out Monolith yet. If not, then they would be second party. But Shulk is basically like their poster child. And yeah, and Shulk appears in all the 3 Xenoblade games, so yeah, even more relevance to him. Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. We are cutting. Sorry. Not part of the Mario crew and from an oversaturated franchise. That's literally why we're cutting. Duck Hunt, we're also cutting. This would be the second retro rep I would consider. But I put Game & Watch over Duck Hunt because Game & Watch represents the entirety of the Game & Watch era, while Duck Hunt only represents like 3 NES games, being Duck Hunt, which is a popular one, but also 2 other less obscure ones like Hogan's Alley and the Gun Game, which I don't even remember the name of the Gun Game. But yeah, I think Game & Watch just represents that retro era better. Sorry, Duck Hunt. Now, if any fighting game character were to stay in, it would definitely be Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. Definitely keeping those in. Before Smash Ultimate became the most popular fighting game, like in terms of sales, I believe some version of Street Fighter 2 hold that title. And yeah, Street Fighter just, again, cemented itself in the fighting game community. So yeah, definitely keeping those in. Hot take. Remove Cloud. It isn't just because I hate the character. It's not because I hate fighting him or anything. Same reason as Diddy Kong. Please give me some time to cook in the oven. When we bring up the character, I'll be like, here's why I chose this character over Cloud Strife. Same thing. Yeah. Corrin, yeah, no, not even Fire Emblem fans care about this character. Sorry, Corrin. If it was Azura, maybe a different story. Just kidding. But, literally only here to promote Fates and try to have a, guys, he's not just a sword wielder role, but except he failed horribly since his dragon attacks are just like really big swords. In fact, they're like more like lances, which is just longer sword. Sorry, Corin. Bayonetta. Bayonetta we are keeping. If it wasn't for Nintendo, Bayonetta series would have just died. But and people kind of treat Bayonetta as like a Nintendo character since, you know, Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3 were funded both by Nintendo, and she's been very exclusive to Nintendo. So a lot of people consider you like, hey, Bayonetta, Nintendo character. And that's pretty cool, even though she's not, but still cool nonetheless. So yeah, pretty important, and has an awesome moveset too. Now, if you say no to Incline, if you cut Incline, I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Have you even kept up with Nintendo, like, within the past, like, I don't know, couple years? Like, the past 2 years or something? What's was super popular, man? Like, don't cut Incline. Ridley, we are keeping. I think, bro, like, since Melee has been requested so much, if you cut him now, sorry. Also represents villains. We always need more. Keep those villain ratios in Smash Bros. There's not many of them in there, so I do not want to cut them all. Simon we're keeping, which means we're also keeping Richter. This was the Konami rep I was talking about. Simon and Richter, you know, Castlevania, super old. I think lasts longer than Metal Gear Solid. Don't correct me if I'm wrong though. And also another part of the Metroidvania genre, revolutionized a bunch of games and stuff. And Castlevania is still relevant to this day. Like recently, have you seen the new Castlevania anime? Like the new Castlevania anime literally stars Richter Belmont, literally the dude from Smash Bros. So yeah, still relevant, definitely. So yeah, moving on. King K. Rool, we're keeping. This was the character I was talking about with Diddy Kong. I think K. Rool better than Diddy Kong. If you had to keep one, I would choose K. Rool. The reason why, we want another villain in the roster, and it's also another heavyweight. Diddy Kong doesn't really have anything super unique or very niche on the roster. I guess like he can throw items, but also we have Peach for the item thing and like just an all-rounder type of deal. K. Rool has something special and niche to the roster to offer, and another villain. And we want to keep our villains. So yeah, that's why Diddy Kong's out, and that's why Diddy Kong is out, and K. Rool is in. For Isabelle, I'm cutting. I think there could be 2 Animal Crossing characters, but I think only one in this hypothetical roster. It could either be Villager or Isabelle. I only put Villager simply because his popularity, not his popularity, but Villager is in all the Animal Crossing games. While Isabelle is only in the recent 2 games, being New Leaf and New Horizons. So yeah, I just say Villager because he's been in all the games, but I could see a reason with Isabelle. You could literally change in between the 2, and it would be fine. Incineroar, cutting, again, just overuse. Same thing with Piranha Plant, like, you in a series that has so many reps, we need to get rid of some of y'all. On to John Smith anime, Joker, Persona 5 anime, Smith Royale for Strikers, Nintendo Definitive Edition, new funky mode. Sorry, you're gone. Overdone joke, I know. But this hurts. Persona 5 is one of my top 3 favorite games of all time. Cutting him sucks. But, oh well. Whenever Persona 6 comes, they'll probably put in the protagonist from him. But honestly, I prefer just the protagonist from Shin Megami Tensei 5, since that's the main series, but I get it. Persona's more popular in the mainstream, so I get it. Anyways, Hero. Keeping. We're keeping Hero. This is a video game made by Japanese people. Hero is super popular in Japan. Therefore, Hero stays. Also, Godfather of RPGs. JRPGs. Literally, keep him. I'm sorry, Western people, but he is super important over in Japan. And if this game is being made in Japan, then you best be assured that Hero's staying. Banjo. Sorry, man. Cutting. Look, he's really fun, super highly requested, you know, really cool and stuff, you know, but like the last game he had was on Xbox, and if you don't like counting that, then it's only N64. Yeah, sorry. If this was like Melee or like Smash 64, if he was in those games, and I made a roster, be like, oh, who stays? I'd be like, yeah, Banjo stays. He's relevant because he was relevant during that time. He's not anymore, though. I'm sorry. This is coming from someone who likes Banjo-Kazooie. Sorry, he's not relevant unless if you played his game. Like, your mom ain't gonna know who Banjo-Kazooie is. Terry Bogard. God, this hurts. Terry, literally, if I could have one more character, Terry would be that character that could come in. Terry represents so much. Like, literally, he brought the entirety of SNK, Fatal Fury, SNK, Fatal Fury, all that jazz into Smash Bros. With his large music selection and cameos. Oh, and King of Fighters too, I forgot about King of Fighters. But yeah, he came with that too. Again, crazy. Not now, Epic Game Store. Sucks. Now this is you're gonna hate me even more. Byleth stays. Look, okay, Fire Emblem Three Houses is literally the most popular in terms of sales for the Fire Emblem franchise, and Byleth actually did it's not just the sword fighter thing correctly, representing the entirety of the weapon triangle, as well as having some bows utilized. Yeah, it's not for the whole moveset, but still, really awesome. This time, uniqueness did actually shine through. Midman, yeah. This is an easy cut. I don't see really anyone defending Min. Sorry, y'all. Sorry for the 8 ARMS players that I offended. No one really cares about that game anymore. They try. Look, I'll give Nintendo props for trying about a new IP after Splatoon, but, you know, it just doesn't hit the same. Sorry. Steve. Is keeping in. If you're complaining about Steve staying in because he's broken in Ultimate, stop. Competitive play is not the only thing in this game. Touch some grass, please. And maybe not go close to an elementary school. But, yeah, so it's Minecraft, y'all. From the most, like, one of the most best-selling games of all time. And Steve is just overall fun. Next up, Sephiroth. Keeping in. This is why I cut Cloud. I think Sephiroth... I prefer Sephiroth over Cloud. And this is why. First, he's a villain, and not just a villain. He is the villain, one of the most iconic villains of all of gaming. And if you want to represent Final Fantasy, specifically 7, Sephiroth is the one. Like, he is the character. Cloud got a little bit, oh wow. Well, does he have a long-ass sword that can, like, stab you from, like, across the stage and, like, blast you to oblivion? I don't think so. So, yeah. Sephiroth, we're keeping Final Fantasy series alive, but we're just having a different rep to represent it. Rather than Cloud, we're having Sephiroth. Cloud has like 20 billion other crossover games to go to. He can stick out of Smash Bros. Let Sephiroth take over. Let him give Smash a pair or something, whatever he does. Anyways, Pyra, Mithra, cut. We have Xenoblade rep already with Shulk. No reason to keep them, and unlike Shulk, they only appeared in 2. Only in Xenoblade 2. Shulk has appeared in all of them, so sorry, Shulk. Sorry, Pyra, Mithra. Kazuya, getting rid of just because we're just narrowing down the roster. I'm sorry, y'all. But, yeah. We got Sora next. He's staying. The only reason why I'm keeping Sora in is because he was literally voted #1, Smash ballot, and I think that grants him immortality if you can somehow negotiate with Disney again. This is just assuming all negotiations go well. Sora will be immortalized in Smash Bros. Because of that. There's like, oh, no one wanted Sora? Oh, bro, got the fact sheet with the Smash ballot. Like, people actually wanted this character, so he's staying. And the Mii fighters we are keeping. Again, they represent one fighter. We're staying. They can literally just go into one slot, be like, okay, you get to choose your character, and like you can just choose from all the movesets from the Brawler, Sword Fighter, and Gunner. You can mix and match with them. It'd be fun summoning random guns and swords. I think that's fine. It's a custom character. All logic goes out the wall when you go with a custom character. Let it be super fun. Anyways, that might be it for the roster. We do have 40 characters if you count Echo Fighters as, you know, the one and, you know, all that jazz that I established at the beginning. However, if I were to add 5 more characters, here's who I would bring. First up, Terry. As I said before, Terry. Number 1 character I would bring back, Terry. He just brings so much to the table. Again, SNK, Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, all that, and his stage and his music brings so much and is very popular. Definitely number 1 choice. Next up, I bring Kazuya back. Just because he didn't really have a reason to be cut in the first place. I didn't really give him a valid reason, and that's just because we were running out of spaces to keep, and it was between him or Sora, and Sora granted immunity, so sorry, Kazuya. But you're back now, so awesome. Next character I bring back, Banjo. Where is he? Banjo, yeah. Banjo I would bring back. I know I said it wasn't as relevant, but you know, it's a Nintendo game. He's got like good, I'll give him props, he's got a really good history with Nintendo. And he just feels so good in this game, like he feels welcome. Next character I bring back is Little Mac. I bring him back. There's going to be a fighting game that with Nintendo crossover, you might as well bring the fighter Nintendo crossover fighting game character from Nintendo in the game. Also, I guess you can say like he did have a entry on the Wii, so like it's better than these other retro reps that only just had one NES game. So yeah, better track record. And then the last slot could honestly go to anything. They could go to another third party like Snake. It could go to someone that deserved a second slot in their series. Personally, for me, I'm just bringing back Rosalina as my 5th choice. The reason why is because A, I like her, and also B, she brings a unique playstyle with the puppet character. Ice Climbers kind of provided that, but Rosalina is the puppet character. Like, she brings a whole entire archetype to her, which is why I think it's super important to bring back Rosalina for that, and also, I just like her. So those are my 5 characters to bring back, but if those weren't considered, then these are the characters I would bring back to Smash Ultimate. Let me know what y'all think. Do y'all agree with this list? Do you hate my list? Do you want me to burn in a pit of fire just because I cut, I don't know, Lucas?